not sure how I'll do that yet, but I'm going to make one. I'll show you. It comes this way. Have a look. I've seen this on YouTube. Now you're going to see it on YouTube if you're actually still watching it at this point. Okay, so minor shit fight getting that out, but we got there in the end. Holy moly! Got that pretty good on the first go almost. There's a cat. Strangest cat ever. Yeah. Anyway, oh god, that was stressful. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to DMAC Customs YouTube channel. Dave here, back on the Area 51, just for a change. Now, quite a few moons ago I installed these 65 Thunderbird seats in the Area 51. And here in New Zealand we have to follow a pretty strict set of guidelines on how you install seats, like, you know, to get this thing legal on the road. Now anyway, when I did this, I didn't have the steering column in here. I had a broom handle with the steering wheel on the end of it. And since I've actually put the steering column in, I've noticed the seats are a little close to the far end, so I'm going to have to redo my seat installation. So I thought I'd bring you cats along for the ride and show you how I'm doing it, and hopefully it's all going to be good for our low volume certification process here in New Zealand. Anyway, so they need to come over a little bit and back a little bit to get them in the right spot now that I've built the console and got the steering column and everything in there. So I'll show you where we're at. Come with me. Okay, so this is 65 Thunderbird seat in a 51 Fleetline that's been customized a little bit. These plates here, these call them doubler plates. Now we have to use these for seat mounts and seat belt anchor points and stuff. And there's two plates, one on the top side and one on the underside for each bolt hole sort of thing. And so when I did this initially, I kind of like I said, I had a broom handle with this steering wheel jammed on the end of it, going down through the hole to try and figure out where the center was, and it was probably a little bit inaccurate in hindsight. So what I got to do is I got to take these out, and I'm going to move them maybe another 10 millimeters over, and then probably about 20 millimeters back. So I've got to take the seats out, clean up all of this stuff that's falling out from under the seats because the foam has completely degraded, and yeah, drill them out. Got to weld up the old holes and relocate the doubler plates. So I've been avoiding this for a little while, but now it's time. It's time to do it. So let's get it done, and I'll make sure everything's like squared up and whatnot. There are some complexities because of the way this curves back here. And these double plates have to be curved to the contour of the sheet metal that they're going through. So I've got to do that and match it up on the underside, which is, to be fair, a bit of a shit fight. So let's get at it. Take these seats out. Holy heck, when you look at the state of the foam that's coming out from under these seats, it's just gone. And there's the remnants of it inside the seat. I think I might need some new foam for this seat. I think this is kind of making a mess. But yeah, so that's the seats out. Now I just clean away this urine coloured looking foam stuff. So these are the double plates that I was yabbering on about. Now on these seats, they bolt through into the seat, not from the seat through to the floor into a captive nut sort of thing. So they're all going to be bolted up from underneath. That's why there's just plain holes and there's no captive nut on the underside. So clean this up and drill these rivets out and take it from there. Roll some lines and get it all sorted. Okay, so that's the mess cleaned up to get me started. Yeah, next stage, drill out all these rivets. One side, I can't remember which side now, is just normal rivets. The other side's mono nickel alloy rivets, which is what we're supposed to use, but I didn't have enough when I did it originally, and I always meant to come back and drill them out and do them again. But now I'm going to take them all out completely and move everything, just because of all the stuff I said earlier. Yeah, so I'll drill those out and then set about how I'm going to reconfigure everything. Yeah, okay, let's do it. Okay, so seats out, double the plates and that are out. Now, when I put these seats in originally, I sort of was doing it all off measurements and shit like that, and it got really confusing and stuff because these back holes are slightly in further and then the outer holes, and rush hour on a Sunday. So I always kind of felt seats weren't, other than being slightly not in the right place, I always felt they were not in the right place. You get what I'm saying? So that being said, I'm going to make a template and get these holes sorted based on a template. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure how I'll do that yet, but I'm going to make one. I'm going to make my, alright, over here. Okay, I'm going to make my template the kind of hole size of the track system. We'll start with kind of to the outer extremities. Like that. And a ruler. Have we got a ruler handy? Oh, nope. Roll the line there. And one there. Okay, so there's my basic template anyway, so that's going to sit up like that with these tracks. Oh. Right. So make sure they're forward. Oh my gosh. This one wants to do its own thing and this one wants to lock. Okay, okay. Tape measure. 45. So that should be about right, yeah? Hopefully. Of course it's not now, is it? Okay, so make this top edge, so we go front. Like that. Now I have to get, how do you get like accurate holes like in there, in the centre of where they need to be? See, could I do that? One bolts in and then press on it, or could I just press on it if I do it this way? So, first attempt at trying to find the holes wasn't really very successful. I tried just pressing down, but there's not really, it's not leaving enough of an impression on there, so I'm gonna sort of mark down the sides of where they, the centres are, and try and transfer the marks onto the cardboard. Yeah, that makes sense. It's probably a much simpler way of doing this, but at this current point in time I can't think of it, And the washing machine's just finished, so that's what that beeping is, in case you were wondering. Also, one of these captive nut thingammy bobs on this seat is flogged out, so I'm going to have to drill that out and weld a nut or something on in there somehow. I might have to do it from this side, it's all pretty rusty. And they're just 3/8 bolts, I think, that go on there. Not that that really makes any difference, but just thought I'd tell you. So let's get this lined up and transfer my marks. Oh, where is it? Is that it? No. Oh, there it is. Don't worry about that one. That pen's getting a bit rooted. Oh, that's why. This is my better one. Need to scab another couple of pens from work. So I own the company, so I'm not theft as a servant type of thing. They're my pens. I draw my lines and just like that. Okay. So that's me. Let's put this away, be back in a sec. That's me 4 marks marked on there, which will be, 6 marks for my 6 holes. So I'll punch those or drill them, probably punch them, try and get them fairly accurate. And actually, should I drill? I'll just punch them. I'm going to punch them with a socket. I did a little test one earlier and it worked quite well, so I'm just going to center that up across my cross and then just punch a wee hole through there. So I'll show you. That piece of steel. Here's a piece of steel. I'll show you. Come this way. Have a look. I've seen this on YouTube. Now you're going to see it on YouTube if you're actually still watching it at this point. I'm trying to stop my thing from falling over. There we go. So I'm just going to center up my socket over the top of my cross and whack it like that, like that, like that. See? It just punches that out. Now you've got a piece of cardboard stuck in the socket, so I need something pointy to push that out with. Sure, I had something for that. Anyway, I'll do 5 more of those. Alrighty, so there's my template made, and all my holes seem to pretty much line up. Probably could have punched bigger holes in there, but I thought I'd keep the holes sort of smaller because I'll drill the holes slightly bigger. If that makes sense. There's my daughter. But yeah, so that's my template, but I might fix that stuffed nut in the seat before I go too much further. That ain't gonna work. Try this one. Got it. Okay, so minor shit fight getting that out, but we got there in the end. Got myself a, what is it? 3/8 nut that I'm going to weld into there. And so I just got to clean off all the rusty stuff and then I'll weld that on. And it should be good to go, hopefully. Might see if I can get a bit of weld on the back side as well as this side. I might have to go and have to clean up and get some clean steel so I can do that. There we go, clean steel. I should probably clean this up as well actually. Anyway, get some clean steel going on that. Okay, so how I'm going to weld this, and I actually got an old 3/8 bolt in here that I'm using as a sacrificial bolt, and this will help protect the threads from any splatter that might fall in there. And so I'm going to weld it, try and get in close on this side, but I might actually get in here and weld it up on that side as well, just to sort of lock it in place so the head of the bolt is under the floor bracket thing, so in the event of an accident it's going to pull on that. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Yeah, so that's where I'm going with that. So I'll weld that up. MIG or TIG. A lot of rusty shit on there, probably MIG actually. I'll have to go and drag it back around. This sacrificial bolt is actually helping hold the nut in place, so I don't have to try and hold it with pliers or my fingers or something like that and risk welding my finger to the seat track. So there we have it. Yeah, I'll carry on. Okay, so as you can see, that's that nut welded on back there. I can't get all the way around to weld all the way around it on the back side, so I've sort of, I don't know whether they've sort of stuck. I've put a few big gobs on the back there to sort of hold it in place and whatnot, and then little tacks around the front. I'm just going to clean those up a bit with a die grinder. Managed to get one little blob onto the thread, which is why I had my sacrificial nut on there to protect the thread. So there we have it. All this will get all cleaned up later when we get on to finishing up these seats properly. All this is going to come apart, get painted, new upholstery, all that. Don't worry about that. It's going to get reupholstered, and all this bracketry will get cleaned up and painted at that point. Okay, so I'm just going to clean that up and then move on back onto the double plates. Okay, so welded my nut on, ground it back, put a few more little extra welds around the one next to it because it looked a little thin on that kind of little lip thing around it, partly because I kind of ground into it when I was using the flapper disc on there earlier, so I thought I'd better just kind of like put a couple of little zaps in there just to reinforce, reinstate some metal in there that I accidentally kind of flapper wheeled out of the way. So that's that bit done. Now we've got to get back in here and weld up a bunch of holes and relocate the holes, drill some new ones and stuff like that. So yeah, figure out. Let's get in. Let's just do that. Might have to do some prep stuff first. Maybe do some wire wheeling and stuff, and I don't know. We'll get there. We'll figure it out. Alrighty, so here's my dilemma with these seat bracket and doubler plate things that I've got to have to use to put this into these seats into the Area 51. Now I know in the States and other parts of the world you just use some big round washers behind the old you know, thing to distribute the load under the floor, but we can't do that here. We have to use these doodads, and where I had them sitting before, this plate was tucked up underneath a floor brace, which is kind of part of the problem as well. I was thinking maybe our certifier dude might not like that, so what I'm endeavouring to do is moving it back to around about there, so it'll clear this brace that runs just through there. But what happens when I do that is that puts that there, and that'll put the back hole right on this edge here, which is again now raises the question, will the certified dude be happy with where the bolt lands underneath, because it's going to be on this plane here, which is going to make the bolt head, you know, kind of in a crease kind of like that on the doubler plate, which will probably end up being about there, like running through that area. So that's kind of my dilemma. But yeah, so that's kind of what I need to do. Now I could bring that bolt, this back one, just shy of going into that kind of crease and whatnot, but then that'll possibly push my, so it'll land about there-ish, and that would push this doubler plate to, I don't know if you can see it, but just inside that hole you can see that ridge from the, where it should be a lap joint type thing on the brace that runs underneath. That'll kind of end up kind of still tucking under there, but the rivet won't, so they'll be able to see the rivet, but then the brace is messed with, so cert man might not be happy. Other idea is to maybe flatten this curve a little bit, just sort of hammer and dolly it, just to sort of take the sharper edge off, especially the bits towards the center, and then we could still get a bolt with a spring washer to kind of seat well into the seat. Excuse the pun, but that wasn't intentional, but that's just kind of how it is. So yeah, that's kind of where my seat braces and brackets and stuff are at the moment. I reckon I might put it where I need it to be for this floor brace, and yeah, I reckon do that, flatten that off just a touch, and so I've got a kind of not so much of a kick down there. I can get in there hopefully and hammer that down a little bit. And of course these doubler plates all have to be a very specific size too, and have so many square millimeters that they have to cover, and the rivets you have to use are a special mono nickel alloy rivet that is special. I'm not 100% sure what that means, but you have to use those types of rivets. You can't just use normal alloy rivets. You can bolt them, but yeah, nobody does, everyone rivets them. Anyway, I'll have a little experiment with hammering down this bit on the floor and see how it goes. Alrighty, so did some hammering on this ridge here, and by hammering it straight down it kind of forced it back out that way a little bit, which kind of gives me a flatter spot there for my hole to go on, so I'm going to go with that. Already done the other side. Going to do some measuring and that, try and find some center lines for these seats to get them in the right spot before I weld up any of these other holes and start drilling new holes. So that's get into some measuring and rulering and stuff like that. Tape measure or ruler? Both. Yep. Okay, so this is how I'm gonna work this out. Because of that brace that runs through right through under here, I need to clear this on the underside. There'll be one of these on the underside, so I need to sit this so it'll just clear that, also far enough in that the doubler plate won't interfere with this. That kind of puts me, I had marked a hole there, so it puts me about there, right where that little cross is there that I've prepared earlier. So that's where I need another hole, and that's what I'm going to kind of start my mapping out sort of process on, to figure out where my new holes need to go. But I'll have to figure those out and then, you know, weld all these ones up and then clean it all up and then drill new holes. So I'm going to probably get into the old TIG welder to do these holes where I've got to kind of drill next to again, because these holes need to be pretty accurate, and this is where I come unstuck trying to be accurate. So let's I don't know, I'm just jabbering on now, but that's kind of what I'm going to do. So then I'll lay my template on there like that. That'll show me where my, oh, that's landing, oh, hang on, sort of a bit further back than I thought. So if I move that hole up so it's in line with that one, and then this doubler plate, where's that going to land? It's going to tuck under that brace still, which is what I'm trying to avoid. But I'm also trying to avoid having the hole like halfway down this thing. Okay, so I've got some locators marked on just the one side at the moment. I'm just going to do some of that like I have over there, and get these ready to weld up these holes. Still trying to decide whether to just MIG them up, or if I MIG them up, then I'm going to have a bit more of a underneath stuff, especially up here where I'm going to have a double plate underneath. So I really kind of want to get a pretty clean flush finish on both sides, which is going to suck. Trying to smooth them out underneath. Like, I've just spent the last half an hour hammering up this bit of the floor to try and give me a flatter platform to put these double plates on, but it's kind of worked to a degree. But it now that the light's on it again, it's a little bit funky. That's that done. Right, now I'm gonna go and make some, what am I gonna make? I'm gonna cut me a whole bunch of little discs, I think. Yeah. Damn it. Yep. Alright guys, welcome back. Welding up all these holes, old seat bolt holes in the floor. Well, actually new old, they only put in a year or so ago. The smaller holes, the rivet holes, I can just fill with filler rod. I'm doing this with the TIG welder, and I haven't really done this sort of thing with the TIG welder before that much. Haven't done much sheet metal stuff with it. Haven't really done much with it. Just little bits of brackets and that, as you might have seen if you watched this channel. But I thought I'd show you what I do for bigger holes. I do this with the MIG as well, but I've been experimenting with the doing it with the TIG. This is the hardest part, of actually picking up these tiny little discs with gloves and stuff on. So what I do is I've cut these little, what do they call them? Hexagons, octagons. I don't bother cutting like full circles. If I had some way of quickly cutting clean, accurate circles the size of my hole, I probably would. But I'll show you what I'm going to do now. It might flare, you know, like you might not be able to see much with the actual torch going, but I'll show you in the stages. I don't know if this is the right way. This is just the way I've sort of been doing it, and it seems to work quite good. I need my hammer. So check this out. I'll try and get this so you can see what's going on. Hopefully the camera's pointing in the right place. Right. So I'm just going to sit that kind of a little bit of an overlap, because it will burn away a bit, and then just strike my torch just outside. Quick little fusion. And that just kind of like tacks it. That actually is not really a very good one, but I try to normally get this to sit a little bit flush. Then just gently knock it down. Gently knock it down. And then you can get into welding it in. Right, I'll just quickly knock that down while it's hot. Just like that. Leave that to cool off, and I'll do another one. Get a little bit of warpage in there with doing it like this, but yeah, when it cools off it flattens out a little bit, and then once I sort of can get in there with the grinder and grind it back, I'll be able to kind of planish it up with a hammer. So there you have it. That's how I fill up little holes. That wasn't the best example. I did a really nice one over the other side that I was like, oh, I'll video that, and then I do like a pretty shit one. So I might try another one and show you that one instead. I'll try it. No, I'll need to do one of these ones, but you're probably not going to be able to see. Oh, don't worry. That's how I did it. Yeah, so that's all the holes all welded up. Just got to grind them all back and kind of clean them up, and then I can start drilling some new holes. Choice. Supposed to just be like one of those little quick jobs, just relocate these plates, but we're running out of day. But That's how it is. Right. Okay, so I've ground it up all up the top. Now I've just got to do all up down the bottom here, which is the funnest part on your back under the car with this much surface rust and a spinning wheel of death. It's only the half death one, it's the battery one, so not the full screaming wheel of death on the electrical powered one. But yeah, so I just got to flatten these off a little bit, get in here with a wire wheel, spray some stuff around, and then I'll start mapping out the holes and stuff. Anyway, enough talk, let's get at it. Okay, so gave those a quick grind back, didn't go too nuts under here because they're going to be actually covered up by the new doubler plates anyway. Just going to squirt a little bit of black etch on them, which is something I didn't do last time, not sure why, but going to do it this time. So I'll just get those sealed up, and yeah, then do some black etch up the top there as well. So this is really awkward, in case you didn't figure that out. Also, I should mention that I'm only going to put the black etch where these doubler plates are going to go, because I'm still going to take the body off the chassis, and I'm going to spend about 4,000 hours under here on a wire wheel and sandpaper and stuff like that to get this floor ready for proper etching and paint, under seal, stuff like that. Also got a whole shit ton of welding left to do under here, and grinding, and just generally cleaning everything up and making it tidy. Like whoever put these floors in, some of the plug welds are a little bit cold, so I'm gonna have to go through and do a whole bunch more welding and that, just to make sure it's all done proper like. Okay, right, let's get out of here. Some in. Alrighty, so let's get this tripod mic stand thing sorted out. Okay, so got etch primer on everything, just to seal it up, so once these go on there, this top side's not so bad, but for some reason someone's wire wheeled or wire brushed all the underside, and so it's kind of surface rusting, and then the original chassis got a lot of surface. Anyway, I'm getting off task here. So these are my marks I made for my whole, that whole line before I cut everything out, well, welded everything up and stuff. So this is how I'm gonna position these. Now it's not bringing it over that much, it's only about 10 millimeters, but this mark I'm going to put here is going to get me my first hole. This line is going to line up my second hole, and then I can just trace off my last holes from there. So I'll just draw a little circle there, see, just like that, and then I can lay my template over the top, line it up with, where's that line in there, make sure she's on the mark there, and on the mark there, then I can mark all my other holes, just like this. Just like that, see? Ta-da! Now I can drill those, bolt them in place, and then I can drill and rivet all the flat ones, these front two, these ones here are going to have bends on them. So I have to flatten out those plates that I've already bent and bend them again, probably, I think. Hopefully it's straight. Looks straight to me, anyway. Right, I'll mark the other side, drill the holes, and carry on. Righty, so just got to get my bend curve things on these doubler plates and then get them kind of located where they're supposed to go. So got a couple of little marks on there. Quite a lot of walking in this phase of doing stuff on the other side of the car. It still needs a little more. There's my hole. Okay, battery went flat, so got that outer curve pretty much where I want it. So now I just got to get this inner doubler plate pretty much where I want it. Following pretty much the same procedure, but I don't have to do so much walking, which is, I can do it over here mostly. Okay, so let's do that. It's going to be about my center, or I'll target my bends. Couple of little marks on there, makes it easier to see in the vise. Holy moly, got that pretty good on the first go almost. I mean, allowing for a millimetre or so of floor steel. My rivet holes still kind of line up, so done for that one. Alrighty, so got all my curves sorted out. That's got to go underneath. Where's the other one? Oh, that's right, I've already got that one bolted up underneath. But there is a couple of other issues now with clearances on the underside doubler plates. They're kind of going to overlap or run into some of the other brackets in the places. Shit I just didn't even think of when I was trying to nut out this. I was just trying to get away from those other brackets and ended up crashing into some other brackets. But in a better way, these ones will be easier to work around, I think. As long as the seat's in the right spot. We'll find out when we finish. I'm not going to check it. Can't see it. It could easily be in the wrong spot, or the holes won't line up. Cross that bridge when we come to it. Maybe tomorrow or one night after work I'll get back into this, but that'll be like that for you guys, and it'll be like hours of going to work and sitting in traffic for me. But we'll be back very shortly and carry on with mounting up these seat doubler plates. Thanks for watching, if you're still watching at this point. Hey guys, well, next day after work, actually came back down here last night and did a little bit more on these doubler plates, because it was on my mind, there was a little bit that I just wanted to make sure was going to work. So I got the passenger side all kind of dialed in, just got to do the final riveting on this driver's side, and then we're good to go. Now I'm bolting them all in to locate everything, to make sure everything lines up, stays lined up, and I'll just sort of bolt them down, do the final drilling for the rivets, and then rivet them, then I can take those bolts out, and basically those bolts can be then for bolting the seats, and hopefully everything still lines up. I run my template over the top of the passenger side and that still seems to work, so hopefully it's all looking good. Excuse me. Right, so gonna drill some holes. There's a cat. Strangest cat ever. Yeah. Put a bell on her and now she just jingles around all over the place like Christmas. Right, so get into this and drill some holes. Right, I need to take a little bit of meat off of this to clearance for that brace under the floor. Now these actually have to be a very specific size, but this particular front plates I've made slightly larger to accommodate 2 holes. It's supposed to be 50 by 80 millimeters or 30 by 100 millimeters or something like that. Now this is slightly bigger, so I've got a little bit of wiggle room. I can take a little bit of material off this and still hopefully the cert man likes that. Hopefully that's enough. I only needed to, oh, might have to radius that corner a little bit more. I only needed a couple of millimeters. And these have to have rounded edges and radius corners and all sorts of stuff like that too, so they don't tear the floor in the event of an accident. Tear it as quickly or as easily. Yeah, they're the rules. Alright, get back under here and try and line up these holes. Why is that not lining up now? Did I grind the wrong end? Ah, trying to put it on upside down. Now these inner ones are where I could do with having slightly longer arms. Just stretch it out. Got the spanner stuck on there just for a change. What's going on? trouble with that rivet. The rivet pin had kind of slid back, so it was just kind of going, not getting a good grip. But perseverance won the day. One more. And stretch your arm. There you go. Now, undo all these nuts and bolts again. Okay, so I actually have to redo the rivets. I have to take these rear double plates on the passenger side off because I forgot to do one thing, which is to just soften the edge of the plates so they don't tear the steel in the event of an accident. So I've got to drill those out, re-rivet them. Have I got enough rivets? Yep, just. And then we're done. So I'll just quickly do that and then we'll get into maybe trying the seats and seeing if they fit. Again, hopefully. Okay, so that's basically all I got to do. Is just had to take the sharp plasma edge off of there and just sort of round it slightly, just so it's not so cutty if it gets shock loaded. So now I just got to put those back in. Won't be long. Alrighty, according to my template, pretty close on this side, and hopefully pretty close on this side. Yeah, she looks pretty close. Right, I'm gonna get this seat back in. Remarkably heavy, these little seats actually. Roughly in the vicinity of the first hole, and we'll get under there and hopefully bolt it all up. Alrighty, this is the fun part. Playing where's the bolt hole at? Daylight up the top would be probably quite handy at this point, but it's dark up there, so I can't get any light coming through. Could just guess. Right. Ooh. Oh, come on. Thought I had it then. One's missing completely. Okay, this time, maybe. Wouldn't it be horrible if I completely cocked up my template and all of these holes are in the wrong place? I can't get even the first hole started. Oh my freaking... I can't even bring the violence because this one won't get on there. Okay, I've lost nothing. The washer disappeared into my clothes. Okay, so the other side didn't go so well. Oh, my spring washer gone. I think I may have 3 stripped kind of captive nuts on the other side that I didn't notice. I knew there was definitely one on this seat, but I think there's more. I remember at one side being a shit fight when I was doing it last time, so oh come, good lord. Probably should have cleaned the threads out on these seats too before I started this exercise, because they're a bit sort of surface rusty. Oh, there's that spring washer. Rolling round on the floor. Yeah. Right, what did I do with that screwdriver? I think that might have actually gone in there. That'd be a surprise. Okay. Give me that. Oh yeah. Oh. Okay, so I reckon I need to clearance these holes a little bit, because you can feel them just starting to bite, but they're on funny little angles and shit, and it's just a little bit out. So I don't want to I need a little bit of wiggly room, if you know what I mean. So according to I was reading all the specs on the low volume book today, and I can have 1 millimeter around the outside of the bolt. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll take these seats back out tomorrow, not today. I've had enough for today, and I'll just run a drill up through them, and yeah, just give them a little bit of clearance. Yeah, because they're pretty snug right now. The bolts through the bolt holes are pretty snug, and yeah, if they're slightly out, then it's just going to punish the threads, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure if you worked on cars or anything with nuts and bolts, you'll know what I'm on about. So till tomorrow, see you then. Hey guys, okay, so next day I'm going to get these seats sorted out, just put my overalls on. Can't be bothered getting changed, so I'll wear these overalls. Right, so I'm going to take these seats back out, and I think I've got a stripped thingy-bob on the passenger seat, and I'm going to drill out these holes and make them fit. So let's get at it. Excuse me. Okay, so got the seats all unbolted. That one's still sitting in there, but this is the passenger seat. Now this is why on 2 of the holes I couldn't get them to screw into anything. It's because there's no threads in there at all. They've been drilled out at some point in the lives. So there's only one active threaded hole right there. The other ones are alright. I might run a cleaner through there, clean up those threads. Before I go any further, I'm going to drill these out and weld some nuts in behind there to give me something to bolt them into, because you can't have, the bolts just won't hold on to anything if you don't have any thread or anything in there. Two. Alrighty, so that's those new nuts welded in there. Hopefully that's acceptable in the low volume certification world. If it's not, I don't know what is. I wonder if I should run a tap through those threads and just clean them up a bit. We'll do that. These ones should be all clear, but I'm just, for peace of mind, yeah, they're nice. It's more the three on the other side and this little lone wolf down here that I want to make sure there's not excessive rustage and stuff in there. Yeah, it feels pretty good. Probably should do the other seat as well, since we're in this neighbourhood. Oh, she's a bit dry in there. Now, I don't have any thread chasers, so I'm just using a normal 3/8 tap, just to clean all the surface rust off. So you know what I'm saying. These things should have had some, maybe put some anti-seize on there in the final installation. You know, when we get that far, whenever that might be. Feels like it's going to be a long way away. Still so much to do on this old girl, but we'll get there. They're all pretty clear actually, so I'll just quickly go and do the other seat and we'll be back. Okay, so cleaned all the threads on that other seat as well. Now it's time to say hello to my little friend. Just going to drill out the holes through those double plates to 10mm, and that hopefully will give me enough wiggle room to wiggle all the bolts into place. That's what I'm hoping anyway, so let's get at it. Safety first, kids. Okay, here we go again under the car. I'm going to try and line up these bolt holes again. That one actually looks like it might be in line already. Is that in there? I don't know. I've got rust and stuff in my eye already, so. Ah, so that one wasn't. It's just pretending. I just. Where did that go? Oh, Lordy. Doesn't that want to go in there? Okay, take that one out again and just see if I can get that front ones in. Okay, so finally got all 6 bolts aligned and started on the passenger seat, and it wasn't without a fair bit of cursing and swearing, and just about pushed this thing out on the driveway and set it on fire. But there's nothing in it that'll burn, so would have been kind of pointless. So I'll carry on tightening these ones up and then have to probably go through it all over again on the driver's side. Okay, round 2. Little shavings in the eye, good start. Oh, the first one's always quite easy. Where's that screwdriver? Oh my gosh. I didn't quite put it away, I just put it somewhere else. Then I can wiggle that around. Give up on that one for now. Oh, hang on. I'm not even sure if I've got the tracks in line with each other, so start again. Oh god. Okay, got 3 in so far. Where's my screwdriver? Oh my god, where's my screwdriver gone this time? Ah, there it is. My goodness, I think I got 4 in. Does that mean I'm going to be able to get 5 in? Yes. Does that mean I'll be able to get number 6 in? Oh, she's a bit weird. Maybe with a little bit of cross threading it'll go in. Well, I'll be yeah. I did it. I did it. I got all the bolts in. Anyway, oh god, that was stressful. Okay. Well guys, pretty much back where we started, except for my seats are now 10mm outboard more and about 20mm back the way a bit more. And have to say, made a big difference to the centering of the steering wheel towards the driver's seat. It fought me, to be fair, but that's how it goes, I guess. I thought I was being all super accurate, but didn't quite get there. It's just like, you know, just enough out to be a nuisance. But we got there in the end before getting all the double plates on, moved over, moved back, re-riveted with the proper rivets, ground all the edges, lined up all the bolts, fixed all the drilled out captive nut things under the seat, which was 3 of in the end. I only thought there was 1, but I must have kept seeing one that was flogged out and thinking it was the same one. But yeah, there was 2 on the old passenger seat and 1 on the driver's seat that we had to drill out and fix proper, hopefully. But yeah, it made a big difference. A little bit more, just that extra 20mm was quite a big difference as far as leg room goes. It feels a bit more roomy, still plenty of room in the back for midgets. Not a lot of room for grown up folk, but that's roof chop cars, so that's about it. If you haven't subscribed, get on there, subscribe. That's if anyone's still watching at this point. This is probably the most boring batshit video there is. Yeah, but anyway, as always, thanks for watching. Till next time, take it easy and peace.